So let's talk about meal prepping. Yes, meal prepping makes my life easier. And in general, I meal prep. I especially meal prep my kids' lunches, my lunch when I need to go to work, and my dinner when I go to work. And in general, I try to pick 2 to 3 meals that we can have when we're home together for dinner, or that I can make ahead of time and then portion out, like if I bring it to work, but the kids are gonna eat it here with Brandon if I'm, working late. But then there's times when I don't. And there's times when I have a plan, and then just because of life and like the time I have to prep, I just can't get it done. And so I'm sitting here trying to think, I really need to make this and this, but I'm exhausted. And it just occurred to me, but then why don't I change it? There's no hard and fast rule that says I have to make this week. The stuff I was gonna make, it's not gonna go bad. A lot of it's in the freezer that I was gonna pull out and make. And for instance, I was gonna make a mashed cauliflower. I saw someone doing it on a recipe and I was like, ooh, that looks good. I'm gonna do that this week. We can have it as a side. Maybe the kids will eat it. It'll be kind of like mashed potatoes. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then I'm sitting here, on my day off, and the kids are actually in school, so I'm alone, and it's wonderful. And I have been editing all morning, and now it's like 2 o'clock, and I'm pretty tired, and I have to work tomorrow and prep the kids' lunches, and I know what I'm eating tomorrow, and then I have off the following day, so there's not as much pressure on this day to make for the next 5 days, because I do have another day off, and then I work for 3 days, so then it's kind of like I need to make sure that there's meals. But I think we need to not stress ourselves out, and sometimes the system changes, and I am a firm believer that we always need to be evaluating our systems and seeing if they're working still, because life is always changing. I hate that sometimes because I'm such a routine person and I want A, B, and C to happen in this order, and I don't like it when it doesn't happen like that. But, I've been learning how to go with the flow, and so with meal prepping today, we're going with the flow. I'm gonna show you the things I have done over the last couple of days to make my life easier, and I've just done them when I can. I didn't do it all day, or, I did this much in an hour or this much in 2 hours. I did it here and there because that's life. When I'm home with the kids, I can't dedicate a whole hour or 2 because they're little and they need attention. And if I don't give it to them, they're screaming for it or tugging on my leg or whatever. I'm gonna show you what I've done. And I just wanna encourage you that even if you do one thing to make your life easier for that week, that's good. And that's good enough. And you're good enough. And so we're gonna meal prep. I'm gonna show you what I did make and how I plan to use it. So let's get into it. And you know what I really wanna make is bread. And I saw this good recipe and I was like, I'm gonna make that. And then I'm like, why am I stressing myself out? Because even though I really want to make it and it would be refreshing, I was like, my time would probably be better spent relaxing or having a little snack and sitting down watching YouTube videos, because we don't need the bread right now. In fact, I'd probably put it in the freezer, and if I'm honest, I'd probably like it better fresh, so why don't I just wait to make it, We have bread, I bought bread, it's up there on the freezer, so we're just gonna use that. And there'll be a time when I can just make the bread myself, and then I'll do that. Don't do something because someone else does it. Do it because it works for you and your family. I love how all of our families are different and unique, and what works for one person may not work for the other. But that's the beauty of life, is that we can learn from each other, and we can take tidbits from this family and then make it our own, and that is so awesome. That's why I love being on this platform. I love learning from people on this platform, and I love that you're here with me, because we are all in this together and we are better together. I think we as a people need to know that other people out there are like us, that we're not alone, and that things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, things that we struggle with, things that are challenging, things that bring us great joy, other people share those too, the ups and the downs. And the internet and this platform is such a great way to see that we're all people and we're not alone. So what are you meal planning this week? What did you make? Leave a comment down below and let's encourage each other. Okay, OFB peeps, the first thing I'm doing is making protein pancakes. I don't know, I had this epiphany. I was like, why don't I just use protein powder that's already mixed it with liquid as my liquid because it's 1 part liquid, 1 part pancake mix. It was like a genius idea. I've never made it like that. I don't know, but it was amazing. I really want to try the caramel, however you say it. But I used vanilla in this one. It was so good and such a hit, and it was so easy, like so easy. So I made a triple batch, I think it was. So I put 2 in the freezer, and we had pancakes for the week. Every couple of weeks, I like to make a big batch of pancakes or waffles on the weekend. That way I have extra in the fridge and the freezer, and I don't need to go buy all that stuff at the store. I can just use the cheaper mix and get it from the freezer when I need it. This is one way I help make life easier for myself by batch cooking breakfast items on the weekend. So even if you only do one small thing like this, it could help you sleep an extra, 20 minutes in the morning. And you could have something delicious, pair it with some eggs or sausage from the freezer because sometimes you have to cheat a little and you're good to go. Yum. Speaking of sausage from the freezer, I pulled these patties out from the freezer and I'm gonna pre-cook them for the week. The other sausages I was talking about are actually the links. They're pre-cooked. I just microwave them for the kids. Here's some vegetables that I'm gonna be cooking up with some breakfast sausage and putting in the bottom of a casserole. And I'm gonna cook up a double batch of this yellow rice and mix it with a can of beans. I'm gonna put half of that in the freezer and then keep half of that in the refrigerator to have with protein, something I can bring to work with me with vegetables and protein. I'm adding some whole garlic cloves to the rice and to the vegetables that are going in the casserole. I had these that were peeled and I just stuck them in the freezer, and they're so good to just throw in anything. Just take them from the freezer. You can chop them if you want to. I was being lazy and I just threw them in. And I'm throwing in a jalapeno there, if you can see that. I was chopping up a whole batch, which I'll show you in a minute, but I just threw it in to see if it would add any flavor. Since I was going to be the only one eating this, the kids, I was afraid it would be too spicy for them, but it really wasn't that bad at all. I could hardly taste the spice, so I don't know, maybe it just didn't infuse, or I like spicy things. I don't know. So here's the vegetables. I'm going to layer that with the breakfast sausage, throw on some eggs, bada bing, bada boom. And here's the sausage. It's really good. This is a huge bag of jalapenos. I didn't realize it when I ordered it online, but here's the steak that I'm gonna thaw so I can make kebabs, which I'll show you. All right, breakfast sausage here, and I'm just back and forth because that's life. So on the stove, I'm gonna cook up the breakfast sausage, brown it up, mash it up, then pour it over the casserole. Oh, here's Brandon coming in to help me. Because, when we're both trying to wrangle the kids, sometimes I'm like, babe, can you get the pot on the stove? And he's like, okay. And, that's how we tag team. For this recipe, I think I cracked 14 eggs, plus I added a splash of heavy whipping cream, and I scrambled it up and poured it on top. Bake at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 or 30 minutes, depending on how thick it is and what kind of pan you use. I just stick a knife in it to make sure that it's not soupy and liquidy in the middle. And really, this is a testament to my growth in the kitchen, because when I got married, I really didn't know how to cook anything from scratch. And just from watching some videos and being encouraged to take risks in the kitchen and just to try things, like there's usually a way to fix it if you Google it, but I started trying things and it's an experience for me that I've been growing in, and it's really fun. So I want to encourage you to just try things in the kitchen. Google a recipe. If you don't have something, make it up or find a substitute online. It's gonna be great and you can do it. Cause look at that bubbly goodness. Casseroles are so easy and they make my life easier in the mornings. Okay, we're gonna start on making some side salads. This is already pre-washed lettuce. I'm just dividing it up into 3 containers for 3 different days for work for me. I'm going to chop some Roma tomatoes, add those in, some cucumbers, and sprinkle some red onion on it. If I know I at least have a side salad, then I'm getting vegetables in, and all I have to worry about is bringing some kind of protein and usually some kind of carb for me lately because I've just been so hungry at work walking around. Here's my favorite Italian zesty dressing. Zesty, not the traditional, the zesty. So I just put a little container in there, close it all up, and put it in the fridge. Ta-da! Okay, so I'm gonna make the kebabs now, and I am pre-chopping everything, putting all of the red onions, the green peppers, and orange peppers and red peppers all in a bag. I'm putting the mushrooms in this paper bag until I'm ready to put them in with the marinade, because I actually made the marinade a different day, you know, because life, and I just couldn't do anything else this day. Oh, do you like how Benjamin is building some Legos over there? He's so cute. I'm actually impressed that he follows all of the directions and builds it himself. I mean, he's 5. Looking up some instructions on the Chromebook that we have right there, because as long as you have the number from the booklet the Lego set comes with, you can look it up online. But anyways, here I'm actually switching over to jalapenos and chopping them all up. I'm going to throw this whole bag in the freezer to add to stir fries or to rice and beans or to things in the crock pot that won't be too spicy. So I left some whole and then I chopped up some, because what am I going to do with all these jalapenos? Like, I'm the only one that eats spicy things in our house, so they needed to go in the freezer. Make sure you wear gloves. All done! Yay! On to mixing the marinade. I got this recipe from allrecipes.com, which I'll leave it down below in the description box. You can look it up. It's soy sauce, lemon juice, Worcestershire sauce, olive oil, garlic powder, basil, parsley flakes, a little hot sauce, salt, pepper. I think I added some sugar too. I don't think I added the honey that's sitting there. It just happened to be out. And then I put it in our NutriBullet, which I actually haven't used in a long time, and just kind of emulsified it, made sure everything was chopped up and mixed together. I like the NutriBullet for small batches of sauces or something like that, but for a blender, I love our Vitamix. In fact, I'm gonna link one down below. If you don't have one and you have a little money for investment, it's totally worth it. I think we're gonna do a video on it soon because it will emulsify anything, and it makes the best smoothies. I mean, Vitamix is the brand that smoothie shops use, so it's amazing. All right, so I'm gonna just do 2 bags here with the marinade, the meat in one and the vegetables in the other. When Brandon gets home, we'll stick it on the skewers and then put it on our charcoal grill. Yum, it was actually really good, so I do recommend. Don't forget the mushrooms. I pulled them back out of the fridge, stuck them in with the marinade, mixed it all up. To chopping up this honeydew. This is going to be for just fruit to have in the fridge and also for the kids' lunches. They loved the cantaloupe, so hopefully they'll like the honeydew too. If you've made it this far into the video and you like what you see, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button down below. And head on over to Instagram at OFB Social and come join the community there. We love connecting with you guys in the comments and talking with you and learning from you. So that's OFB Social. We'll see you over there. On to the the kid lunch prep. So I'm only doing 3 days this week because of the way my schedule is, and I think this was a Monday actually. So I'm just taking out any fruit from the fridge and I line it up in the order that I want them to eat it in case, there's fruit that needs to be eaten in the next day or so. I don't prep it and then it's like 5 days later and I'm like, oh, that's not good anymore and moldy, so that's lovely. So I make sure they eat that stuff first. So we've got blueberries, green grapes, peaches, and I'm taking a freezer peanut butter and jelly that I had from the last time I did a whole loaf, and I'm putting in some cheddar cheese with that. Lastly, I'm adding some ham slices. If you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. If you think your friends will like it, share it with them, or share another video that we've made, which is right here down below. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you hit the button down there too. And thank you to all our supporters on Patreon and YouTube channel membership. We love you guys, and until we meet again, don't forget, life is better together.